Okay, so I'm going to ask the question of whether or not you think that you can have enough gold. And I already know how most of you will answer, but I think a few of you out there, especially if you've really thought it through, it might actually surprise me. Let's give it a shot. Okay, so I've been kicking around the question of how much gold I need again. Now, I know that that seems like a crazy question to a lot of people, and I also know that it's just easy to say that you can never have enough and then keep at it. But what if you have 100 ounces, 200 ounces, whatever feels like a serious amount to you? At some point, it seems to me like you can have enough. So earlier this year, I hit a goal that I've been shooting for, and I told myself that once I hit that, I would be able to coast a little bit. And that just happened to line up with spot price shooting up, so that made it a little bit easier. Now, the problem here is that this is obviously something of a hobby for me, and then on top of that, I have a few compulsions. I have these smaller, more specific goals, like maybe rounding out a tube or hitting even numbers of like coins, say like I need another buffalo, or I need 2 more eagles. I'd like to have 2 more maples. And none of that feeds into the rational stuff. I had a high level goal for a reason. It has nothing to do with having a certain number of a certain coin. But fortunately, at least there's no rush on those side quests. Now, once in a while, though, a coin's going to pop up that completes more than a tube for me. Just as an example, a dealer in the area had a lunar coin that I've been looking for, and I wrestled with that knowing that I didn't need to make another purchase this month. I actually didn't want to make another purchase this month. I had bought those British Royal Arms coins at a good price, so my plan was to skip a future purchase, and that was 2. I did the same with an eagle. That eagle that I got for a spot price deal, that was a buying ahead kind of a situation. I think I actually did that for a buffalo now that I think about this as well. So clearly it's a problem. Now, I thought that I was coasting. I'd just kind of top off my remaining small goals and then I would switch gears. And I think at that point, the plan, at least the plan as far as I've thought it through, would just be to pick up standout collectible coins or buy if I catch a crazy deal. Now, I'm even questioning my standard purchase. Maybe I'd slow that down. Maybe I'd grab fractional. I haven't had to think it through yet because there are enough of those small goals that I'm still topping off. But it's coming pretty quickly. 3 to 5 ounces, okay, maybe 7. But that would knock out the static goals. And then it's just new series releases and whatever I decide on for that standard clip. Now, I'm getting in the weeds here on the details. It really doesn't matter how much, when, how many ounces, any of that. But what has me on the topic, the question of when or if enough is enough, is that I've been buying ahead and I just did it again. I'm picking up some new purchases in the next few days. That lunar that I mentioned, that is clearly a hobby purchase. And I don't think that I've ever regretted a gold purchase. I don't intend to start now. But with the markets all tanking, at some point, it does make sense to hold some cash to buy those dips. And that has me wondering if maybe I'm letting the hobby side of this make me dumb. All right, so don't get me wrong here. I can liquidate anything that I have easy enough. And if you were to look at it from that angle, I guess it isn't hard to find worse ways to spend your cash. I'll give you an example here. I have a neighbor who has a 1969 Mustang Fastback that he's perpetually working on. I guess tinkering on. That's probably the better description. Now, he has a Chevelle in there too. I couldn't tell you much about that one. And there are some other cars under tarps. Nothing fancy though. Those other ones, they might not even be his. All I can say is that he loves the cars. And then I guess every once in a while when one is actually working, he even gets it out of the shed and takes it for a drive. Now, I would love to have that Mustang. I like cars to begin with, but that particular car is also well known enough to actually be valuable. I don't know about the Chevelle and whatever else he has on the blocks in that fancy shed, but the Mustang would be fun. And you probably have a mental image of what I'm talking about. Let me clear that up. That is not it. His needs paint. Whoever painted it last, they did not do a good job. It's a bad metallic blue. Definitely not original. It probably needs just about everything. And I'm not sure that he'll ever get around to restoring it or not. So as far as hobbies go, I totally get it. I'd love to have an extra building to keep some extra cars in. I think that would be fun. And if you have the means, well, I'm happy for you. And I guess as far as investments go, the classic car market has been just like anything collectible over the last few years, but you only benefit from that if you sell. So that brings us back to my original question, and you can look at it two ways. If you're worried about currency devaluation, it makes sense to either get to a certain point or continue to buy in. And I think that view would probably keep you in check. At some point, maybe it'd slow down, but you'd probably never stop. Yeah, maybe it would. But if you're worried about an all-out global reset, it probably goes beyond whether you're keeping pace or not. If that was your concern, I don't see how you'd ever think that you had enough. Now, I'm in the first category. It's a practical fallback and something that potentially stays ahead of inflationary effects. So if we don't need it as a fallback, then it goes to my family when I'm gone. I'm caught up now to where I thought I should be. So if I'm being realistic, my recent purchases have been more like what my neighbor has going on in the fancy shed. So the reason that I thought that this was important enough to bring up is that spot price and premium are either really important to me or they barely register. If I'm buying at this point, I'm either looking for a deal to finish off those remaining side goals, or I'm jumping on something collectible and fancy, and then the importance of price is just on a different scale. They're totally different situations. And I thought that it was worth bringing up since I'm going to be jumping back and forth a little bit between them. Now, I'm not going to worry as much on price on something like these Liberties or these high relief Lunars, but a Buffalo, I'm only going to grab one if there's a great deal. Now, I'm not going to go too far in either direction, though. I'm not going crazy here. Even with the hobby side of this for me, I still see gold as a practical asset. I would love to have John Wick's car, and I even wonder if my neighbor fully gets what he's sitting on and how popular those are right now, but I wouldn't be able to pull the trigger on that kind of thing personally, not right now, even if I looked at it as an investment. And I think that makes it really clear just how easy of a decision buying gold is, even if you think you're getting close to having enough. So I don't even know that I have a good answer personally. I'm not sure that I would ever stop. I do think that I would slow down at some point, but let us know what you think. Is there a point where you have enough of this stuff where it becomes something of a case of diminishing return? Or is this an infinite thing? You just never going to slow down, never have enough. I'm curious to see what you think. And then while you're there, be sure to hit the like button if you found any of this interesting. I know this part's really easy to tune out, but it helps out a lot. And if you're into the topic, be sure you're subscribed, you have notifications turned on, and then if you're still here, thank you again for watching. I always appreciate your time. Take care.